All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. In an effort to not talk about the Orioles, we do have some good news in the gambling world. So it happened yesterday. I'll share it with you guys because last week I talked about DraftKings having a surcharge on your winning bets, essentially, right? Like if you were going to bet $100 in certain states, $1,000, $10,000, however much you were going to bet, there's going to be a percentage taxed on your winnings. And DraftKings came out and said, we can't compete in these markets because the states are taxing us too much, blah, 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 blah. So yesterday, FanDuel's parent company, Flutter, had their earnings call for the second quarter, and that was their opportunity to let everybody know if they were going to follow suit. And I think most people thought they would. Turns out they are not. So they announced we're not doing what DraftKings is doing. And then promptly a few hours later, it's just kind of funny how things work. DraftKings come out and says, actually, never mind. We've heard from our customers. We're not going to charge folks either. Instead, we'll whatever their long statement was. But yeah, so that's a win, I guess. Feels like a win if you're using DraftKings. And I don't know where Maryland ranks as far as being taxed. They weren't one of the four states that were proposed initially by DraftKings. It was just going to be a matter of time before, frankly, all the states were going to get taxed once it goes through. So the fact that FanDuel said that they're not doing that, DraftKings backed off, which I feel like is they had to do, right? Because what a great advertising tool that would be for the other apps to say, hey, one app is charging you more than the other to just do the same exact thing. So that's something. That's something, right? It's frustrating, right? You watch every second of these Oriole games, and it's getting to a point where you're like, man, it's just so weird that the record is this good, but they've been so bad for so long, so inconsistent. Maybe bad's the wrong word, but just inconsistent. So I didn't want to focus too much on it because I feel like it's redundant at this point, and instead, I just want to spend a couple minutes. I said this last year and I'll continue to say it, especially as we get new people joining. But if you're betting baseball now until the end of the regular season, you cannot just blindly bet against these teams. It happens every single night. Yesterday, it's the Orioles, it's the Phillies, and then the Mets were a big favorite. And it's all minus 175 and higher. And those three teams, all three games are not competitive. And what happens with those is there's two problems with betting on those teams, just blindly doing it. Because one, you have to pay the odds. But then secondly, now that we have live betting available, I was just having this conversation with somebody whose favorite thing to do is like blindly live bet when a big favorite baseball team, goes down in the first inning. Like, and he was reading off the statistics, whatever it was, and it's just, I don't know. Those are the types of things that I feel like get you into trouble as soon as you start blindly doing something based on the numbers. So yeah, my advice, you have to do the work. And to be transparent about it, when the Pirates, or excuse me, when the Padres play, and they're a huge favorite like that, and I look at these prop bets, and I'm like, I kind of like that, but I like it, to cover by a half a point or a half a run, if it's a 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, or over under strikeouts, or whatever prop I'm looking at. If I don't think it's going to dramatically clear it, I just have it in my head that, the law of averages of teams winning in baseball, when you have these big favorites, I just can't do it. I'm almost automatically turned off when I see that. So Padres were minus 250 yesterday. The day before, they were big favorites. And today they're not as big of a favorite because the Pirates have Mitch Keller pitching, who I really like. See what the lineups look like. They play at 4 o'clock. But yeah, just not excited to bet on the margins. If you need action, I always say if you need action, that's when you do the fantasy stuff. Make a few lineups, whatever. But if you're betting real money on these games, baseball is so tricky. And if you don't know the motivation of each players down the stretch and you're just looking at the record, it really doesn't work that way. So Orioles were a victim of it yesterday. This pod to be pretty short because I was thinking about what I wanted to do with football. And yesterday are the only two bets that I love right now are the Eagles and the Colts. And I alluded to it yesterday. There's certain bets that you can future bets before the season that you can withstand an injury maybe at quarterback for 3 to 5 games, maybe even longer, and still feel pretty good about your bet. And then there's other teams where, like the Ravens, it would change the entire form of the bet. I think the Colts, the reason why I felt comfortable betting the over with the Colts is because even if Richardson goes down, Flacco's over there. And we saw last year, like it wouldn't shock me in Steichen's offense that Flacco could go, 5-3, whatever, 6-4 down the stretch. So keep that in mind when you're betting these future bets. Most quarterbacks are going to at least miss a couple of games. Some might, like Rodgers, out for the season. So you really do need to look at the backup quarterback situation. If you're betting the under, it's a little different. But I say that to say that the Colts is really the only team that I love right this second. There's still going to be a handful of injuries in the next 3 weeks. So that probably doesn't make a ton of sense to bet any futures right now. So I decided what I'm going to do tomorrow is just break down, if there's anything for the win loss, the over under on wins / the odds to win the division, and just go team by team, see if there's value with that. And yeah, let's get into football season. Hopefully the Orioles turn around. Sorry if I'm down this morning. It's kind of deflating. Really, just the game is just deflating. I think the problem, I don't know if anybody else is in this boat, but you like look forward to it all night. So to not get entertained, to be down 2-0 right away, and then Santander gives you the brief. Man, of course Santander is going to hit a home run. It's 2-2. And then, if you don't get the shutdown inning, that's my biggest problem with Rodgers. I could get over the first. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Here we go. Whatever. So the first inning, I can get over it. But it's once we tie the game, you can't give the lead right back. Like, you just cannot do that. Can't. So frustrating, but whatever. It is what it is. Hopefully we win tonight. And I'll see you guys in the morning. I'll have bets for the Pirates Padres game out this afternoon because I'm leaning towards the Pirates. I want to see what the lineup looks like because I do like Keller. So I'll probably definitely, I shouldn't say probably, I'll definitely be betting his props, but I want to see what the lineups look like and how he matches up exactly against everybody before I lock anything in. And yeah, so everybody have a good day and see you guys in the morning.